Okay, we're back with our candidate video sit-downs. We've moved back into the 35th District candidates. Tammey Newton is a lovely lady on the other side of the camera. On the camera, I'm Diedrich Allen off camera. She's running for 35th District State Representative position number 2 and prefers the Democratic Party. First, Tammey, take a couple of minutes to briefly tell everybody about yourself, your background, why you are running, and why you feel you are the best candidate for the position.
Thank you, Diedrich. Well, a little bit about me. I'm a proven business leader with over 18 years of executive management experience. I'm an entrepreneur, a nonprofit executive, and just this year I completed my master's in business administration at the University of Washington. And I'm running because I believe it's important to give back to our communities. And I do that now personally, serving on volunteer boards as well as through my work as a nonprofit executive and COO of an organization that focuses on affordable housing. And I believe that working in partnership with the people of the district, that we can make a difference in our economy. We can make a difference with jobs, and we can meet our educational promises. And I also believe that the problems we face require a bipartisan approach and tenacious leadership, because we need a representative who's ready to roll up their sleeves and really work towards solutions. As I'm out meeting people, I'm told repeatedly that we don't need another 2 years of being told what's wrong. We are living what's wrong. And the reality is that these are pocketbook issues that our folks here in the 35th are really feeling the impact of every day. So I believe the reason I'm best suited, and I'm asking for the vote of the people of the 35th, is because I have the proven skill set that is required and needed to bring people together and to work together. It's what I do in my career, is bring people together from diverse backgrounds and organizations for the common good of the community. And we've got to do that. So I'm looking forward to an opportunity to work with the people in the 35th, both sides of the aisle in Olympia, and also work to bring tangible solutions to the challenges that we're facing.
Everyone says their top priority is fully funding education.
Yeah.
How do you plan to reach that court-ordered mandate, and can it be done without sacrificing other programs? If cuts have to be made, how would you determine what to cut?
It's true. We all say it's our top priority, and we've been told it's our top priority. So it is. And, you know, me included. I want to make sure, though, that we are looking at education in broader terms, and K through 12 is paramount. It is the foundation, it is the cornerstone, and it is also the one that we talk about the most. However, at the same time, we can't overlook vocational education, technical education, adult basic education, and higher education. And I say that because many of the economic and employment challenges that we face can be addressed through, or at least partially addressed through, education and skills training. Our unemployment has shifted from a frictional unemployment situation to a structural unemployment situation. And we need to make sure that there are pathways for our folks to retool, for the workforce in our communities to be able to retool themselves, and to be better able to meet the new and changed market demands of employers, and also to recruit new employers to the area. A skilled workforce and quality education, those opportunities create vibrant and competitive communities that are of interest to employees and employers. And that in turn creates jobs and strengthens the local economy. And it's a magical thing that happens when it works, because when the circle of prosperity is working, all of a sudden you have the funding for K through 12. So we can't talk about education and not also discuss how higher education, vocational education, technical education, even adult basic ed plays into that. That being said, we need to also look at closing tax loopholes. We have out-of-state businesses that take advantage of in-state perks, and those really aren't for them. And that's providing no return on investment for the taxpayer, because that's really what that is. And then additional cuts, I mean, we've been cutting for a while, and so I think we all probably get a tinge of pain on that you can see on our faces when we go to talk about additional cuts. And what I would say about that is that should it be unavoidable, then we need to make sure that we are taking care and protecting the safety nets. We've got to protect health, safety, consumer protection, and we've also got to make sure that we're protecting the most vulnerable in our society.
Transportation is another priority, and there's been a lot of talk about the need to reform the state's Department of Transportation. How would you accomplish that reform?
Well, people laugh when I say this, but I love audits. And so I'm a huge fan of and supporter of performance audits. And, you know, in my current position at a nonprofit, we do grant work, and so we're audited every year. And of course, yes, it's a little bit painful, but we go through the process. And, you know, performance audits are a little bit different, but they're critical. And we need to make sure the Department of Transportation is not only doing what they've been directed to do by the legislature and using tax dollars correctly, but also that they have the information available to know whether or not they're off or on track and that there is some sort of performance measurement and audit happening. I also think this is a great opportunity for us to bring in some of the business skill set and processes, and we should really be looking at implementing an agency-wide lean process across the board here. Lean is wonderful. It's customer-centric, so in this case it would be taxpayer-centric, and the whole goal is to work as a team to eliminate waste and also increase productivity. And so I think this is a great opportunity for us to be able to bring a little bit of business into the government world and make improvements that we would need to do to get that done.
What are the top transportation needs of the 35th district?
This is a tough one because I think we have a couple. We definitely need a reliable ferry system, and we need to make sure it's funded, for the long term, right? And we also need to look at funding the Belfair bypass. We also need to continue with maintenance and upgrades to the existing roads and bridges, and we need safety improvements. And so, for things like the Lynch Road intersection off 101, which is one of the most dangerous in the state. So there are multiple, but we need to definitely pay attention to safety and maintenance, and otherwise, that accelerates, and as we found out with a bridge that fell. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you support a gas tax?
The gas tax, people in the 35th commute. In fact, my friends are amazed at how many miles I have on my car in a year. When I get my oil change, they're amazed at how many miles I have on my car in a year. And so, on average, I think our commute around here, I've been told our commute on average is around an hour. And on top of that commute being about an hour, oftentimes there's a toll or a ferry that we're also using in that process. So we already have a rather hefty price tag, I think, on commuting. And so my concern with the gas tax is that it would disproportionately affect our commuters here in the 35th. So I think that we should we should be looking at reforms to the DOT that would, potentially drive more dollars into those projects, and just make sure that we don't take a one-size-fits-all approach, because this isn't the same as some of our urban friends where it's easy to just grab a cab or walk to the next destination. This is a very dispersed area and district.
What is your position on tolls?
I think tolls for major projects like the floating bridge in Seattle are reasonable. It relies on the folks who use the resource the most to fund the project.
So are tolls a better way to get projects funded?
I don't know if it's better, and that's where I say that whole one-size-fits-all. I'm always hesitant to box myself into something like that, because I think you do have to look at a case-by-case basis. In the case of public-private partnerships, where the private partner is assuming financial risk and liabilities, it makes sense to toll those major projects. However, it doesn't make sense to me for basic upgrades and improvements. And so when we're looking at basic upgrades and improvement to our current infrastructure, I wouldn't say that tolls are a better way to get that done.
With the planned widening of Highway 3 through Belfair, in your opinion, will the Belfair bypass still be needed? If so, how can we get that bypass funded and built?
I do think the bypass will still be needed. The good news is that the widening of Highway 3 is going to take some of the pressure off of the existing road. It'll put a little pressure on it first, and then it'll get better. And that getting done very quickly is very important. And personally, because I drive through there like many of us do, I'm excited. Every summer, boy, Belfair gets a little crazy, and Highway 3 through there is not exactly pedestrian friendly, and there are a lot of challenges. The bypass, though, we can't really build that until we have a funding source for it. We've got to figure out the funding. And so it's going to, again, require strong leadership from our legislators, and we're going to have to make the case effectively to both parties as to why that project is of regional significance and deserves funding. And I think there's an opportunity to make that case, and we've just got to come together as leaders and do that.
Economic development, creating jobs, and attracting the industry and business are also priorities. Do you have a plan to help create jobs and attract business to the 35th District, and can you summarize that?
I do. First, I support providing tax incentives for larger businesses to relocate or expand in our communities here and in our state overall, that have in the areas that have disproportionately higher unemployment, like we do, for example, in Mason County. We should be looking to companies that add value, I think, to our natural resource products rather than just shipping our raw goods out of district. We need to look at innovation, and we need to really partner with folks that are going to help us in areas that we are already experts in. And we need to make sure that whatever benefits that we are looking to bring new business in, that we are extending those same benefits and opportunities to our existing businesses to help them grow. Second, we need to address the punitive nature of taxation on small businesses. And I say that because a lot of the taxation challenges make it difficult for our small businesses to expand, to create jobs, to take employees from part-time to three-quarter and potentially full-time. And so, we have a lot of small businesses that are just on the edge there, and we need to make sure that we are not damaging them in that process and that they're getting the same benefits as any large business coming in. Third, we are blessed with such an amazing district. We have so much natural beauty here. I'm a scuba diver. You can dive here. In fact, I took my dive certification out on the canal a few years ago. I won't say how many. And, I hike. I love to be out in the snow. There's pretty much anything that you would want to do, we have it here in this district. And so I really think that we need to encourage people to travel. We need to take advantage of the staycation opportunity and really get folks to travel and recreate here in this district, because it's close to home and yet it feels far away. It's still small town and it's still cozy, yet at the same time it's close to everything, and we have so much we can do here. So we need to get funding and fund the State Department of Tourism and really take advantage of that. And finally, as I mentioned, when we spoke earlier about education, that really, again, is paramount, and we need to provide access to those educational opportunities for job retraining and for skills. Our area would be much more desirable for relocating businesses. And think about the market advantage we would have if we became known as the district that was investing in the community. So to make sure that we had the skill sets and the education of our workforce so that we were sought out by both employers and employees, I think there's real opportunity there.
Are you in favor of increasing the minimum wage? If so, how would you propose to go about raising that wage to lessen the impact on small business?
Yeah. I would have to see a specific plan again before I would say whether I would support one or not. The reality of it is that the further a person is from a living wage, the less savings they have. And they're simply financially living on the edge. We've all heard reports that Americans are one paycheck away from losing their homes, and that's been going on for years. We know through economics that when income rises, consumption rises. And we know increasing minimum wage provides the greatest economic impact because these folks are already so close, where they've been putting off for forever buying tires. They've been putting off replacing a washing machine. They've been putting off, right? So when you provide them additional wage, you are going to turn that back into the local economy most quickly. That being said, I think it's really important to keep in mind that Mason County is not King County. It's not the same situation. Here in Mason, much of our economy is driven by small businesses, and these small businesses are on slim margins, and they also are barely getting by in a lot of ways right now. I've owned my own business. I grew up in a small business, and I sign paychecks now as an executive director and COO at an organization. So I'm very aware of wage and its effects on overall performance of an organization. So I worry that a one-size-fits-all approach would be, it would hurt businesses in the 35th disproportionately. And so, but I'm excited because I think that this is an opportunity where we can work with business to improve and strengthen the economy overall. We have to look at doing this so that we're not lifting employees at the expense of business. We have to lift both together. And so I think this is a partnership with businesses. It's going to require innovation, and it's going to require collaborative bipartisan efforts in the House.
Okay, Tammey Newton, thank you for taking some time. She's running for 35th District State Representative position number 2, but first the Democratic Party. Thank you for stopping.
Thank you.